Dear gentle listener, today I'm taking you to the Étang de l'Air, a peaceful pond near the beautiful village of Saint-Urcize. As I stand here beside the still and quiet water, I'm reminded of an ancient Greek myth about a beautiful young man who became captivated by his own reflection, and a young nymph who fell hopelessly in love with him. This is the story of Echo and Narcissus. Among the ancient forests and mountains of Greece, people once believed that nymphs lived amongst the trees, springs, and hills. And one of them was a beautiful and lively nymph called Echo. A companion of the goddess Artemis, she spent her days running through the woods, chasing deer, and laughing beneath the open sky. But Echo had one flaw. She loved to talk. Whether in playful chatter or heated debate, she always had to have the last word. One day, this habit would cost her dearly. Zeus, the king of gods, was well known for his many love affairs with beautiful nymphs. He would often leave Mount Olympus and descend to the mortal world to seek their company. One day, his wife Hera, queen of the gods, came searching for him. She had reason to suspect that Zeus was once again amusing himself among the nymphs. Echo, quick-witted and talkative, saw what was happening. She began distracting Hera with an endless stream of conversation, keeping her occupied while the nymphs slipped away. But eventually, Hera realized that Echo had deceived her. Her anger was swift and terrible. "You shall lose the power of your voice," she declared. "From now on, you will only be able to repeat the words of others. You may still have the last word, but never the first." And so Echo was punished. From that moment on, she could no longer speak her own thoughts. She could answer, but she could never begin a conversation. Not long after, she saw Narcissus, a young hunter of extraordinary beauty, wandering through the mountains. The moment Echo laid eyes on him, she fell deeply in love. Silently, she followed his footsteps through the woods, longing to speak to him, to tell him what she felt, but she couldn't. Then one day, separated from his companions, Narcissus found himself alone in the woods. As he walked beneath the trees, he suddenly heard a faint rustling in the bushes behind him. He stopped and listened, but the forest was still. He called out amongst the trees, "Who is there?" Echo's heart leapt. "There," she answered. Narcissus looked around, but he could see no one. "Come," he called. "Come," Echo replied. He listened, but still there was no one to be seen. Puzzled, he called out again. "Why do you hide from me?" "Hide from me, hide from me," Echo answered. Narcissus turned, searching the forest. "Let us meet." "Meet, meet, meet." Echo's voice drifted softly through the trees. Narcissus looked around in wonder. "Where are you? You. The sound seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. Then Echo, unable to contain herself any longer, stepped out from amongst the trees. She had been waiting for this moment. At last she could see him. At last she could speak to him, but she could not say a single word of her own. At the sight of her, Narcissus recoiled. "Stay away," he cried. "I would rather die than let you have me." "Have me," Echo repeated softly. Humiliated and heartbroken, she fled into the woods. But Narcissus would not escape punishment. He had rejected not only Echo, but many others who had fallen in love with him. At last, one of the rejected maidens prayed that Narcissus might someday feel the same pain he had caused in others, to love someone who could never return his affection. The prayer reached Nemesis, the goddess of divine retribution. She heard it and answered. One day, while wandering through the forest, Narcissus came upon a clear, still pond of water, so pure that its surface reflected like a mirror. As he bent down to drink, he saw a face in the water, a face of breathtaking beauty. Mesmerized, he gazed at the shining eyes, the perfect features, the radiant youth before him. He did not realize it was his own reflection, and he fell in love. Again and again he reached out to touch the beautiful figure, but it vanished at his fingertips. He tried to kiss it, but the water broke the illusion. And yet, each time he drew back, the beautiful face returned. It drew him in, fascinated him, and trapped him in a silent and hopeless longing. "Why do you flee from me?" he cried. "When I reach out for you, you reach out for me. When I smile, you smile back." But the beautiful stranger could never answer him. Narcissus could not tear himself away. He forgot food and rest. Day after day, he remained beside the pool, consumed by a love that could never be returned. Hidden between the rocks, Echo watched him. And when Narcissus cried out in despair, "Alas!" Echo whispered back, "Alas, alas, alas." Narcissus grew weak. His strength faded, his beauty withered, and beside the very pool that had enchanted him, he died. The nymphs mourned him, but when they came to prepare his funeral, his body was nowhere to be found. In its place, they discovered a delicate flower, white petals surrounding a golden heart, a flower that still bears his name, Narcissus. And Echo? Somewhere between the quiet hills and empty caves, she wandered, consumed by grief. Over time, her body faded, and her presence dissolved into the rocks and hills. Nothing remained but her voice. If you listen closely, you may still hear her, forever answering, forever repeating, forever having the last word.